y'all. Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is Ernest James. I am here with you guys for another episode of your Healing Journey Live. I will be your mental health advocate, your grief guide, walking you through your grief journey during this season of your life, right? And so I definitely want to thank you guys again for tuning in. This is only the second one that I've done. We just getting started. We got a long way to go in companioning. I can't even say what I'm trying to say. And partnering with you doing this journey, doing your grief journey. So last week we talked a little bit about last week Friday actually we talked a little bit about your grief journey of you going through this journey of grief and having on a safe face, should I say, putting on a smile even though you're hurting, hiding behind the smile, not addressing the fact that you are hurting because you are dealing with grief. So that's what we talked about last week. This week I want to not this week but today I want to talk about the difference between grief and mourning, right? The difference between grief and mourning. And again, this is your Healing Journey Live, and we're going to be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. We'll be doing this, your Healing Journey Live. Okay, so again, today I want to talk to you about the difference between grief and mourning. And so when we think about loss, we often think about the grief that comes with it, and we think about the person that we lost, or we usually think about losing a person. But grief isn't just for losing a person, a loved one, but grief can be attached to any kind of major loss in your life, whether it's heartache, whether it's a relationship, whether it was a loved one, but it could be a pet, it could be a dream, it could be anything that you feel so deeply about, anything that you love that you lost for some reason or another, right? And so when we talk about grief and we talk about mourning, the difference between the two is how you express it. So grief would be considered the internal expression of your loss, right? And mourning would be the outward expression of your loss. So when you think about grief, you think about the emotional turmoil, the emotional feelings that you have around the loss, right? How you feel, how your heart feels, how your mind feels, how you think about these things, how you're thinking about and processing inward the loss that you've had. Mourning is the outward expression of that. And so if you think of mourning when you go to a funeral, a lot of times if there is a widow or a widower, back in the days, not so much now because we have different themed colors at funerals now. But back in the days, the family would wear all black, right? And then the wife or the mother, whoever female that was mourning, would wear a black veil over her face, right? So that is the outward expression of the fact that you're mourning. You have on all black, you have on the veil, you have something even outside of the funeral, even during your day-to-day, as you're still in mourning, you will usually wear something that will let people know as a outward expression that you are still mourning mourning a loss of a person or a dream or a situation, whatever that loss may be, but you're still dealing with a loss. And so when we think about grief and sometimes why it is so hard for us to process our grief and hard for us to deal with our grief is because we can't see it, right? So because we can't see it, it's hard for us to express it, and it's hard for us to receive help or even ask for help. And it's hard for those who are willing to support us and willing to help us to be able to help us. because they can't see that we're hurting if we don't share it. So we have to be open and vulnerable with our grief. We have to be open so that we can be able to express what we're dealing with. We can be able to say, hey, I'm hurting, I'm dealing with something now. Could you support me during this time period? Right? And that's a big thing, to be able to ask for help. Right? That's a big thing, to be able to ask for someone to support you during this time while you're grieving. And there is support out there. There is definitely a lot of support groups on Facebook. There's a lot of in-person groups. There's bereavement support. I definitely encourage anyone to go to bereavement support. Usually those groups are connected to either a funeral home or a hospice or something like that, where you can find and get the help that you need by joining together with like-minded people who are dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with. So meaning they are grieving as well. They might not be grieving the exact same loss that you have, but they are dealing with a loss of their own and they are grieving. And so you can go to those places and be able to find that help, find those like-minded people who are going through the same thing that you're going through. Find those people, find that community that is set up to support you during this time period, right? So you definitely want to be able to look for those. Again, you can look for attached to funeral homes. So a lot of times funeral homes have those services. Hospices have those services. Any people, anyone like that will have those kind of services. And so you guys will be able to reach out there and get that support that you need from there. And so also we want to let's talk a little bit more about mourning and what that looks like. So we talked about when you are going through the season of mourning. A lot of times, like in the older times, generally you would wear black, or you would wear a black rose, or you would wear something black, so that people could recognize that you're mourning in this season, right? Also, there are some other things that we can do to express ourselves differently. You know, sometimes we may wear something of the person that we lost. You know, wear a brooch, a watch, or something that belongs to that person as an outward expression that you are still mourning, because you may be still in mourning, but you may not be able to wear black every day. You know, if you have a job that you have to wear a uniform for, then you have to be able to have, you know, your uniform on, but you may want to still be expressive of the fact that you're mourning. So again, those type of things, you know, can be a guide, can be an outward expression of that fact. So wearing something that belonged to that loved one, and wearing something that belonged to that loved one as a outward expression of mourning, whether it's a watch, whether it's a ring, whether it's clothing. A lot of times we wear clothing that belong to our loved one. So while that is an outward expression of mourning, that also will help you with your grief as well, because it allows you to still be connected to that person, still be close to that person, even though, of course, that person is no longer here, but it would allow you to be close or feel a closeness to that person by having something that belongs to them on, or having something that belongs to them close by, even if it's a watch or something that you can keep in your pocket, a picture, anything that will be able to help you to be able to express yourself in that way. And so those are the major differences between grief and mourning. Grief is more internal. Grief is more of how you're feeling. If you know how you're feeling, depending on where you are on the grief wheel. We talked about the grief wheel a little bit last time, which is that wheel, or if you think of it as a pie chart, and a pie that is cut into different slices, and each slice would represent a different emotion that comes with being on that grief wheel. And we also talked about that grief wheel being a hamster wheel, meaning once you're on it, you're on it. You can never get off of it. Now, just because you never get off of it doesn't mean that it doesn't get easier. It definitely gets easier as you make room for your grief, as you experience your grief, and as you take out the time to process your grief, right? Never getting over it, never, getting rid of it, because it's a part of you, and it's a example or an expression of the fact that you love hard, right? That there was something that you love hard, something that you love very much, something that you cared about very much, that you lost. And that is the reason why you grieve, right? And so there's nothing wrong with grieving. Grieving is a natural process of our bodies. It's a natural process of our lives, natural process emotionally, how we deal with a loss. We grieve, we cry, we weep, and that's natural. And so we shouldn't be trying to get over it, in some way may say. We shouldn't be trying to, okay, let me just get through with it, because it's a natural part of us. And once we enter into a space of great grief, we never get over it. We never get through it. It's always a part of us. But as long as we process it correctly, then we'll be able to move with it, be able to live with it, and be able to move even in and out of grief on a daily basis and not be destroyed by it, right? Not falling down and breaking down and not being able to, stop crying. All of that comes with taking time to process your grief, taking time, giving grief time, taking time to sit with the memories, sit with the thoughts, sit with your tears if need be. And sometimes even just to sit in silence if that's what you need at that time. But we have to make sure that we're taking out that time to be able to have those moments in order to deal with our grief, right? So again, grief is a natural part of our existence, right? God made us to be able to grieve, to be able to release the stress that loss has on our bodies, right? Physically, number one, but also to release the stress emotionally that we carry when we lose someone or something, right? And so we have to be able to process that grief in the right way. So that means just making sure that we're taking out the time with our grief, right? And taking out the time to process it. And there's a misconception, that we often hear that, time heals all wounds. Time definitely does do some healing when it comes to grief, but it doesn't necessarily heal completely. Again, grief is that emotional space that you're in when you lose someone, and you never really get over that. To date, I think my mom has been gone 16, 17 years at this point, and it's definitely a lot easier on some days than others. But grief is that process, and depending on what you're doing and how you're feeling on that day depends on how grief will affect you that day. So there are times when I'm able to talk about my mom with no emotional expression of at all outside of love and grace, and being able to talk about how great a mom that she was, how much she meant to me and my family and our church family as well, and all of her grandkids and all of those things, to be able to express those things. That there's some days I can have those conversations all day with a smile on my face and not feel sad about the loss of my mom, but feel gracious and be filled with gratitude to be able to express the happiness that I have of having my mom in my life, of my mom being a part of my life and playing the part that she played. But then there are some other days. There's some other days where I can't have that discussion without breaking down. There are some days where just the emotion of it, or the emotional thought of it, or whether it's maybe an emotional trigger that I may encounter for that day that made me think of my mom. Whether I talked about wearing something that belongs to a loved one. And my mom used to like to wear these, she liked brooches, the little pin-on brooches, and she likes watches, and so if I was to come across, a watch that I know that she would like, that may trigger an emotional outburst from me, or at least an emotional expression where I start to, feel a little way about my mom. But that's okay. Again, it's natural because it's a natural part of our lives when we're grieving. And so definitely grief gets easier as time goes on. Grief gets better. It gets easier to process as long as you're making room for it, right? So when you don't make room for grief, and what I mean by make room for it, I mean when you don't take out the time to process and acknowledge the fact that you are feeling some type of way. When you don't take out the time to acknowledge how you feel when you're grieving, when you don't take out the time to acknowledge the loss that you feel, when you don't take out the time to acknowledge how that loss made you feel and why it made you feel a certain way, when you're not taking out the time to process your grief, then it'll be harder for you to deal with it. Then it is going to be harder for you to operate, in a day-to-day operations that you may have to do while still grieving. So you want to make sure that you're taking out the time to express your grief, to sit with grief and give it its due. Because one thing about grief, if you don't take out the time to process it, it's going to force its way into your life. It's going to make you deal with it. And if it has to force its way out, then it's usually going to do it at a time that is not in your best interest, right? Whether it's at work, whether you're at, somewhere playing, whether at a meeting or whatever, it doesn't matter. Grief doesn't care, right? And I say that sometimes, grief doesn't care. And when I say grief doesn't care, I mean grief don't care who you are. Grief doesn't care about your nationality. Grief doesn't care about, what you do for a living. It don't care how much money you make. It does not care. It affects us all. And it does not care what you're doing when it decides to show up if you are not taking out the time to process your grief. If you're not giving it a time to process and setting time aside to sit with your grief and express your grief. And that's why I think that bereavement support, even having, these lives and for people to be able to come on, ask questions or even express themselves when we're having these conversations, all of that helps you to process your grief. All of that helps you to express your grief. All of that helps you to take the time needed to give grief its space in your life and give it a space to show up so that it doesn't have to force its way and show up in your life. Because if it forces its way out, again, it's usually going to do it at a time that is not beneficial for you, right? And so I just really wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit about the difference between grief and mourning. Again, grief is our inward expression of loss, of how we feel about a loss, and mourning is the outward expression of that loss. So grief would be, the emotions of being hurt, the emotions of crying, not necessarily crying because that's an outward emotion as well, but to feel the sadness, to feel the discomfort, to feel the anger sometimes. All of that is grief. All the emotional, the parts of grief that you cannot see is grief, right? All the part of the emotional expression that you have from the loss is those things that you can't see, and those things are that's what grief is. While mourning is that outward expression, those same emotions that you're feeling. Well, how do you show those emotions out to the world? And then that can be crying, that can be, a little anger sometimes, a little frustration and on your face, and even in your activities and the things that you do, just to be able to express the fact that you are mourning, that you have incurred a loss, a major loss from someone or something that you cared very much about. And now you are dealing with, or now you are expressing the fact that you have occurred this loss and that you did have this loss. And so again, I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between grief and mourning. I'm going to be back next Thursday. I'll be back, and these will get longer and more in depth as we go along. Right now, I'm just kind of, dipping my toe into this on this journey with you guys. But again, we'll be doing these more, and they'll get longer and longer as we go. Not too long, probably at the most about 45 minutes to an hour. But in the meantime, I also want to encourage you guys and invite you guys to check out our school platform, right? Our community on the school platform, which is the Deal to Heal School for Living. Again, it's the Deal to Heal School for Living. And what we want to do is to be able to expand our mission, which is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problems, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. And so the Deal to Heal School for Living is on the school platform, where we offer resources and workshops to help you to deal and heal in every area of your lives, in different areas. So you guys can go to the school platform and look up the Deal to Heal School for Living, or I made it real easy. Just scan the QR code in the corner of our presentation, and it will take you straight there. It's free for the first 7 days. When you go and you sign up, it's free for the first 7 days. You're able to see what we have to offer, what the different programs, resources, and workshops that we have. And if you decide to stay after the 7 days, it's only $27 a month, and it will release a new workshop every week. So every week you have access to a new workshop, as well as the free resources that we have, including some PDFs, some ebooks that I've written that's there as well. So make sure you guys go and check us out there at the Deal to Heal School for Living. And you guys can just scan the QR code in the upper corner. So that will do it for today. That will do it for our live today. Again, this is your journey, your healing journey live. We'll be coming on every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. to walk with you during this grief journey that you're on. So make sure you guys read the clicker down below. There's a lot of our information there. Make sure you guys, again, check us out at the Deal to Heal School for Living on the school platform. Also, you can find us on YouTube at Deal to Heal Podcasting Network on YouTube, where you will find our Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. And also you can go to dealhealfulfill.org. Again, dealhealfulfill.org, which is our website. All of the information is on the ticker below. So just take the time to read it, and it's been running the whole time. So whenever you're watching this, take out the time, look down below, and that all our information is down there. Until next time, I want to thank you guys so much for showing up for yourself, and showing up on your journey of grief as you learn to live and deal with your grief successfully, right? Successfully living and processing your grief. I am your mental health advocate and grief guide, Ernest James. Until next time, you guys be blessed.